Hello everybody. So today's pick a card reading is asking the question, do they miss you? And I have 4 groups for us to choose from today. Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and Group 4. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to. Take as much time as you need to find the pile that sits right with your energy as well as with your person's energy, and I will see you in a minute. Hello pile 1. So today's pick a card reading is looking into whether or not they miss you, and I've already pulled cards to show how they're remembering you and how they're remembering themselves. So they're remembering you, pile 1, as the liberator, the mole, the rabbit, and the fox. They're remembering you as somebody who was a very good partner, somebody who was very loyal, somebody who was very emotionally available, somebody who was very trusting and perhaps blindly went into this connection on faith alone. But at the same time, they're remembering you as somebody who perhaps had their feelings hurt often or played the victim in some circumstances. But that's not to say that they remember you only in that. With the liberator here, it seems as though you were the one who probably put your foot down after a while of not having your needs met or not feeling good in this connection in some way, shape, or form. And you were the one who freed yourself from this. So they can't necessarily call you a victim when you made the changes that you needed to for yourself. So it's somewhat of like a memory in the sense of they felt like they were constantly doing wrong. So perhaps this is even a projection onto you of them being a victim, of them assuming that they're a victim, playing the victim. They're remembering themselves as the crow, the owl, the rat, and the healer. And before we go to that, I want to say that over here with how they're remembering you, they remember you as somebody who was very intuitive and somebody who definitely was capable of listening to your own needs. You knew what it is that you needed, what you wanted, and they're kind of remembering themselves in the same way. They're remembering themselves as somebody who was intuitive as well, somebody who kind of understood the world around them in a way that was different than perhaps how other people understand it. And they remember themselves as somebody who was getting a bad rap or who was misunderstood. I get the feeling that they never meant to actually cause any harm or be rude to you. They feel as though they were misunderstood rather than their intentions were to bring you down. Their intentions were to be good to you. But I get the feeling that they feel as though they failed in that regard. So that's what I'm seeing in terms of how they're remembering you and them. And then these cards here represent how they're feeling about this separation. So for that, we have number 44, your dreams are closer than you think. Number 44 again, transmute. Number 23, peace. And number 33, message. How is this person feeling about this separation? They don't care for the separation, but they are trying their hardest to accept things as they are and allow the changes that are taking place to take place. They do have something that they want to say. They feel as though they've left some things unsaid. However, at the moment, they're recognizing that perhaps it's not the right time to hash anything out. And instead, they are trying to heal from this. It doesn't feel as though this is what they want. However, they're acknowledging that perhaps this is where this connection is meant to be in this current moment. So, if this has resonated so far, let's go ahead and get you guys some tarot, and we'll ask the tarot if they miss you. Does pile one's person miss pile one? Do they miss pile one? Okay. So we have Judgment. I'm actually going to put them over here. Judgment, the Three of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands. Do they miss pile one? The Ten of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, the Page of Pentacles. It's too many. The Two of Swords. The Six of Swords. The Wheel of Fortune. And the Four of Swords. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. Okay. So does your person miss you? Yes, they do miss you. They miss when things were easy. They miss the times when things were good. They do miss you. But there's also an element here of accepting that where this connection was left off was one that didn't feel good. And they don't miss those times. They don't miss the times where there was perhaps arguing, or they felt as though the weight of the world was on their shoulders. They felt as though everything was their fault. They don't miss that aspect of it, but they do miss you. They miss emotionally connecting with you. They miss building a life together, making memories together. They miss feeling as though they had found their person. There's an aspect here of them really having a desire to work things out with you, but they don't necessarily think that you have the same desire, and so they're holding back. They absolutely want to apologize in the very least, but it seems like they're still coming up with the words, or they have apologized and it didn't get them where they thought it would. There's an element here of just slow progress, of moving forward, of wanting to move forward and move things along in this connection, but it's progressing very slowly for them. And they're thankful, even though they miss you, they're thankful that there's not such negativity in their life anymore. Not that you're a negative person, but the negative energy of arguing, or of not getting along, or of feeling like they're being resented. Those aspects of it, they're happy to take a break from. Let's go ahead and get you guys some advice. What advice is there for pile one when it comes to this connection? Okay, we have forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And one more. What advice is there for pile one? We have acceptance. I am learning to accept the things that I cannot change. All right, pile one. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you today. If this resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to read for you today, pile one. And I hope that I'll have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Today's pick a card reading is answering the question, do they miss you? And the oracle cards that are pulled out right now are representative of how they remember you and how they remember themselves in this connection. So they are remembering you as the Midas/miser, the chickadee, and the bat. It seems like they're remembering you as somebody who was on the cusp of profound transformation, but was perhaps resisting it in some way, shape, or form, or was putting themselves through hell, essentially, when it came to this connection because you did not want to let it go, rather than accept the death of this connection. It seems like they're remembering you as somebody who really wanted this connection to continue, even though you were suffering in it. I also get the feeling that they're remembering you as somebody who was a little bit fearful of being abandoned or of their emotions being disregarded. There's just a lot of fear here. They're remembering you as somebody who was very fearful of the future of this connection. They're remembering themselves. They're looking back at themselves now, and there's a couple of things that are coming through. It seems like this person for a really long time was looking at themselves as somebody who was innocent in this connection, and they didn't understand why you were behaving in the way in which you were. They felt as though they were getting kind of beat up or just having to take punches as they came, going with the flow. That's kind of how they were perceiving themselves throughout this connection. But now they're looking back and they're seeing their behavior for what it was, which was perhaps manipulative, but definitely it was inconsistent. So for their cards, we have Lamb, Catfish, the Alchemist, and the Shapeshifter. I get the feeling that they behaved in whatever ways were of benefit to them at the time. So if they wanted to connect emotionally, they would be emotionally available, and then they would completely disregard the fact that there had been emotional bonding within the next couple of days, and they would behave completely different, like they were a completely different person. And they're looking back at themselves now and they're realizing their part. They're realizing their inconsistencies, their inauthenticity, their inability to communicate, their inability to commit to not only just relationships, but to where they stand on their values. And they're seeing this now. They're no longer entirely putting the blame on you. When it comes to how they feel about this separation, we have number 20, Divinity, number 25, Gifts to the Portal, number 17, The Fates, number 17, Make Believe, and number 22, Grounded. Okay, so your person is trying very hard to pretend like they don't care, to pretend like everything is okay, but they don't feel like everything is okay. They feel as though they're trying to change the narrative that they're giving to themselves right now. So rather than say that this is their karma, which is what they're feeling, they're trying to say that this is fated. This is how it's meant to be. But it feels like a farce. It feels like they're feeling like a fraud right now in that regard. And really, they're kind of a mess. But they wouldn't even admit it to themselves, let alone show it to you or anyone else. Let's go ahead and ask the cards if they miss you. Does pile two's person miss pile two? Okay, we have the Page of Cups. The Hanged Man. Does pile two's person miss pile two? The Queen of Swords. The Nine of Wands. And the Three of Wands. Let's keep going. Do they miss pile two? Okay, we have the Knight of Wands. The Queen of Cups. Okay, we have the Star, the Seven of Swords, and the Devil. And then on the back of the deck, we have the High Priestess. Okay. So this is interesting energy. I get the feeling that your person is not very in touch with themselves emotionally. And because of that, it's difficult for them to be able to recognize whether or not they miss you. There's an element here of them desiring to apologize to you, to come rushing forward. And there's also an element of not wanting to be, they feel a little bit discarded or rejected at the moment, and they have a desire to not feel discarded or rejected. And they also have a desire to be brave, to be able to have their heart space open, to allow things to happen naturally. But it doesn't seem like they're at that point quite yet. It seems like they're lying to themselves. They don't know how to be honest with themselves. The answer to the question is that yes, they miss you, but I don't think they even have admitted it to themselves. The only thing that they've admitted to themselves is that they miss the physical aspect of this. But there's more to it than that. They're just unwilling to look at their feelings. It's too scary for them. And so they're hiding things from themselves is what I want to say. Let's go ahead and get you guys some advice. What advice is there for pile two when it comes to this connection? Relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. I think that's a really important one. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. And one more for you. And we have forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. All right, pile two. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you today. If this reading resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to read for you today, pile two, and I hope that I'll have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye! Hello, pile three. So today's pick a card reading is asking if they miss you, and I've already pulled oracle cards here. These ones represent how they are remembering you. These are how they are remembering themselves. So for how they're remembering you, we have the Thief, the Snake, and the Hummingbird. What this is telling me, pile three, is that they think that you were healing from mistakes in your past. That's how they're remembering you. They're remembering you as somebody who was either forgiving yourself for not having shown up as the best version of yourself in the past, and you were on a path of personal transformation. and you were really finding that enthusiasm and that love and lust and curiosity for life again. I think also with the Thief here, more so than just forgiving yourself or forgiving events or others for what had happened in the past, there was also an element here of them feeling as though you had stolen their heart. When it comes to how they're remembering themselves as somebody who had the potential to be such a loyal person, such a loyal partner, and yet they hid that away from you. They had the potential to be all in, that's what they desired, but they put a mask up instead and hid who they truly were from you. With Addict here, so the cards that are for them are the Raccoon, the Wolf, and Addict. So with Addict here, there truly could have been issues with substance abuse that they were hiding from you, but that would ring true to you if that's the case. But there's an element here of them realizing that they lost their integrity and they weren't forthright and honest. When it comes to how they're seeing and feeling about this separation, we have number 48, Psychic, number 43, Deep Knowing, number 36, Come to the Edge, number 20, The One Who Needs Control, and number 3, Magic. So when it comes to how they're feeling about this separation, I would say that they definitely still feel very connected to you, intuitively, psychically speaking. They feel as though they know what it is that you're feeling, that you guys might be connected in the dream world somehow. And they're really trying their hardest right now to not mess this up any more than they already have. They are putting in every ounce of self-control that they have to not sabotage what's left of this connection, if there's anything left, or even the possibility of there being something left. There's just an element here of them not feeling as though, it's like they don't feel as though they have disconnected from you in any way. They still feel immensely connected to you. But let's see if they miss you. Let's go ahead and pull tarot on whether or not they miss you. Does pile 3's person miss pile 3? Okay, we have the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, the Hierophant. Does pile 3's person miss pile 3? We have the Ten of Wands reversed, the Devil reversed. The Moon, the Seven of Wands. Do they miss pile 3? Okay, we have the Seven of Swords. We have Temperance, the Three of Swords, and Justice. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Six of Swords. Okay. Do they miss you? I would say that yes, they do, but there are other things that are taking up space in their mind right now. Most specifically, they're recognizing that they were the ones to have broken their own heart. This Addict card, along with the Devil reversed, is giving me more of the same energy of someone who has a substance abuse disorder of some kind. And same with the Seven of Swords. This would only be if that resonates with you. But it seems like they're recognizing that their lack of integrity, their chains to other things, is what ended up breaking their heart. And there's a wake-up call. This person seems to be at rock bottom and is now recognizing that they need help in some way, shape, or form, whether or not that's professional help or they need help in the sense of they need to start loving themselves more. They need to start healing from past wounds that have probably spilled over into this connection. There's an element here of, yes, they do miss you, but they're also recognizing that they are in no spot right now to come forward. And I think it's out of love, which is why that the one who needs control came out when it came to how they're feeling about the separation. They're really having to practice self-control to do the right thing, because they know if they were to come forward with this Hierophant here, if they were to come forward and keep the mask on and pretend like they're getting better, it would be a lie. They would be deceiving you, and it would sabotage whatever's left of this connection. They want to fight for you, but they have to fight for themselves first. And they feel very, very afraid. And I think the fears that they have for themselves are outweighing the fact that they miss you right now. And they're okay with missing you. They're okay with missing you so long as they no longer cause any more harm to you. Let's go ahead and get you some advice, pile 3. What advice is there for pile 3 when it comes to this connection? What does pile 3 need to hear? Okay, we have purpose. I know what I am here to do. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And envy. I am the same as everyone, but with different challenges. All right, pile 3. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you today. If this resonated, I would love to hear about how it did in the comment section down below. I'm sorry if this resonated. This was definitely a very heavy reading, and please know that you're so worthy of a love that's full of respect. It's the bare minimum, and I'm rooting for you, pile 3. Thank you again. Bye. Hello, pile 4. So today's pick a card reading is asking the question, do they miss you? And the first thing we're looking into is how they remember you and how they remember themselves. So when it comes to how they're remembering you, we have the Fool, the Bat, the Spider, and the Oyster. It feels like this person is remembering you as somebody who perhaps didn't see their worth at the time and therefore was easily taken advantage of. They're seeing you as somebody who perhaps didn't have a whole lot of experience when it comes to life, perhaps, or when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to people like them. And because of this, you fell for them, fell for some of their tactics. And were manipulated emotionally. When it comes to how they're remembering themselves, we have the Lion, the Trout, and the Hedonist. They're remembering themselves as somebody who was very composed, was, and okay, so one thing that I'm noticing just right now with the imagery of everything is that this Lion and the Trout are facing the Hedonist. Neither one of these animals is facing you. And this is telling me that they're remembering themselves as someone who was more focused on their own pleasure than they ever were on being a good partner. They were very composed. They're remembering themselves as somebody who didn't allow you to get very close. They're remembering themselves as somebody who was going through their own transformations. But most importantly, they're remembering themselves as somebody who put their own pleasure and happiness above all else. When it comes to how they're feeling about this connection being in separation, we have meditate, and growth, number 40 and 15, number 50, under a spell, and number 29, breathe. What this is telling me is that they don't feel as though you are this same person that you were, that they're remembering you as, anymore. You've kind of broken out of the spell and they no longer have a hold on you. They feel as though this space has caused damage to the hold and the composure that they have had when it comes to manipulating you. They feel as though you've grown and you've evolved. And I think it's interesting that everything here, when it comes to how they're feeling about this separation, has to do with how they cannot control you rather than how they're feeling. And I think that that goes hand in hand with them constantly having composure. But let's go ahead and see what comes through in the tarot. Does pile 4's person miss pile 4? Okay, we have the Hierophant, Strength, okay, we have the 8 of Wands, the Knight of Cups, the Page of Wands. Does pile 4's person miss pile 4? Okay, we have the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, the King of Wands, and the 4 of Wands. And on the back of the deck, we have Judgment. Okay. Does your person miss you? This person is very, very selfish. And the biggest thing that's on their mind right now is the fact that if they were to come forward, they would have to come up with a new tactic in approaching you. This person is worried about themselves. They are not, I wouldn't say that they're missing you. I would say that right now they're thinking of how they can maintain composure, regain their composure, and make it look like they know what they're doing, like they're the better person, they're the one that was harmed perhaps. However they can manipulate, they're trying to come up with ideas right now in which to regain control. Everything about this is this feels like gaslighting. I mean, the Strength card typically doesn't, sometimes I get this feeling from the Strength card, and I absolutely get it right now. And that feeling is that there's a need to manipulate. And with the Ace of Swords here, this is new ideas. So this is telling me that they're coming up with new ways in which to manipulate, in which to, and if you look, what I think is really interesting about the card is that here's another lion, and we have this person manipulating the lion to look a certain way, to do whatever it is that they want. And it's like they're trying to come up with a way in which to appear a certain way to you in order to better serve their needs. I don't think that, like, I would say that this person is intending on reaching out again with an offer of some kind. Absolutely. But it's a farce. There's nothing here that's genuine. I don't see anything indicating remorse. I don't see anything indicating sadness. All I see is different people and different ideas, like different ways in which to manipulate. That's it. The Page of Wands is all about exploring your horizons, exploring different routes, and what routes are they trying to get to return home. The Knight of Cups is about emotional offers, and then the King of Wands is about determination. But there's nothing here saying that they miss you. I'm really sorry, Pile 4. I think that you deserve a whole heck of a lot better than this. But I think that what they're realizing is probably true. And I think it's really important to note with the oyster here that what they remember is that there was a treasure within you, there was something special within you that you didn't see. It's not that they didn't see your worth. They were just hoping that you would continue to not see your worth so that they wouldn't have to step up. Let's go ahead and get you some advice. What advice is there for Pile 4? We have change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. What advice is there? Relationships. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. I'm going to say it one more time. I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. And we have success. I know that there is no greater goal than to love. And to allow yourself to be loved, to walk away when love is not being served. But Pile 4, that's what I'm seeing for you today. Thank you so much, Pile 4, for giving me the chance to read for you. And I hope I'll have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye!